Naledi, yes, indeed. They arrived about an hour ago and did speak to the media, returning here again for the parole hearing of their daughter's killer, Donovan Moodley. As you correctly pointed out, he kidnapped and killed Bond University student Leigh Matthews in 2004 and was convicted in 2005. He has now already served 18 years of his life sentence. The family says returning here again, opening up wounds for them. They say that they do not believe it would be the interest of justice for their daughter's killer to be released on parole. They've already gone inside, but just earlier on, Rob Matthews, who is Leigh Matthews' father, as well as his wife, Leigh Matthews' mother, Sharon, arriving with their lawyer here. We're expecting the parole hearing to start any minute now. The time had been set for 9 o'clock this morning. You'd recall also, Naledi, that last year Donovan Moodley had been denied parole, but he turned to the courts to have that overturned. He was successful, but part of that judgment in that court hearing was that he was then to be granted another parole hearing before the 31st of March, which is in a couple of days' time. But a few days ago, he had then again approached the courts. He did not want this hearing to take place, saying that he had not received all the documentation which would be placed before the parole board. But a very dark moment again for the Matthews family. I did speak to Rob Matthews, who is Leigh Matthews' father, before they went inside the correctional facility here behind me, which is the Johannesburg Correctional Centre. And this is what he had to say to me earlier on.
We thought that when the judgment was made in 2005 that we could then get on with our hearing, and we were told that the rules as they were at that stage, he would only be entitled to parole in 2030. So here we are, some 6-7 years earlier than what we anticipated. Plus all the court cases on that journey. That's hugely emotionally disruptive. Hugely emotionally disruptive. It's not a problem for him, but for us, he put himself in jail. We didn't put ourselves in this position. So why should we keep on going through this trauma? I was talking earlier on, there's a desperate need for a more victim-centric approach to justice in the country.
You would know, Naledi, that the media is generally not allowed inside the parole hearing itself, but we're hoping to hear once they adjourn, what part of the hearing entails here this morning. But an interesting point that I think I should also point out, you would know that this week the media will be watching very closely another matter which is also due to go before the parole board on Friday, is that of convicted Paralympian Oscar Pistorius. And I also heard this morning from the lawyers representing the Leigh Matthews' family that the Reva Steenkamp's family have been in contact this morning with the family of Leigh Matthews, basically saying that they stand in solidarity with them, because also on Friday, Oscar Pistorius, who's been serving time in jail, will also be appearing before the parole board. This is at the Mampuru Prison in Pretoria. So the two families basically standing in solidarity with each other. We're hoping to get more details. We know that there are also some organizations that are against, the abuse of women, who will also be showing solidarity here at the hearing of Donovan Moodley here this morning. We're hoping to speak to them in the next crossing. We understand that they are on their way to this hearing as well. We're hoping also to get a bit more details once they do adjourn.
Just lastly, before I let you go, I find it particularly interesting that you said the Steenkamp family has also reached out to the Matthews family, sharing their solidarity with them. And I think it's an opportunity perhaps for South Africans really to understand the weight of victims' families going into these parole hearings. I mean, how much weight does their perspective and their position really hold when a parole decision is made?
It plays a very crucial role, Naledi, in the sense that before a decision is made on whether to grant the convict, parole, the victim statements or victim support statements, whether it would be from the families or extended families, is really taken into account before a decision is made by the parole board in what these families have gone through since the killing of their loved ones in this particular instance, whether it be this case of Donovan Moodley appearing before the parole board or Oscar Pistorius on Friday. I do understand also that June Steenkamp, who is the mother of the Steenkamp, so Riva Steenkamp, on Friday will be making a statement in that parole hearing. So it's really a crucial part before the parole board considers quite a number of other aspects, but also in law, you would know that after the convict has served a particular time in prison, they would then become eligible for parole. So a number of facets would need to be taken into account by the parole board, that of course including the impact that the murder has had on the family of the deceased, where in either they would make oral representations or a written statement about what they've gone through as families as a result of what has transpired. So a crucial part of the decision-making process in whatever decision or finding that the parole board may come to.